Hello and welcome to Technique Tuesday. My name is Sensei Eric. I'm head instructor here at Nemesis Kickboxing Academy. So today we're going to talk about one of the first techniques we learn in kickboxing at white belt. The first kick we teach is the side kick. Okay, so for this kick we're going to be working on a few different things. Flexibility is a big thing for kicking, but we're also going to work on the technique and a few different ways we can practice improving our leg strength as well for kicking the side kick. So first of all, I would recommend warming up before you try any kicking. So a common one to do is something like leg raises. So if you have a wall or something to lean up against, you can just swing your leg up to the side like this, just about 10 times per leg, or you can time it, do like 30 seconds per leg, and then you can turn around and do the same on the other leg. So when we're doing this, we're practicing for the side kick, so you want your leg kind of moving in the same direction as it does when you throw the side kick itself. So notice how whenever I'm doing the side kick, I'm turning my toes away from where my foot is actually ending up. If my target's over there, my toes want to be pointing this way. And it's like that with most leg kicks, but especially with the side kick. Unlike a front kick where my toes could point in the same direction as my kick goes, if I'm going like that, with the side kick I really need to open up my hips so I can stretch that kick out and generate the power behind it. So again, that's a little bit of where the flexibility comes from, depending how flexible you are and how far you can turn your standing foot. So again, just some leg raises, get those legs warmed up like that. You can also do some exercises, things like squats and lunges, and exercises to get your calves warmed up as well, like star jumps and burpees. They're all good as well to help you out with that. So first thing to think about when you're throwing your side kick is this is a technique that is what we call direct. Okay, so there's direct and there's obviously indirect. An indirect technique would be something like a roundhouse kick because it comes around the target and hits on the side. Okay, same with a hook kick. That's another example of an indirect kick. But a side kick, like a front kick, or even if you want to use your punches, it's like a jab cross, direct, straight from me to the target. So with our side kick, I want to start inside stance so that I don't have to really move at all. If you're starting from open stance, then you kind of have to adjust a little bit, and you don't want to be doing that too much. So this is more of a technique that we use in side stance, primarily for point fighting. So from here, I can pivot that back foot a little bit again to open up my hips, and then get that front foot up. Okay, so that front foot comes up in a nice high chamber. Alright, now the reason we lift our leg up into this position here, what we call our chamber, is to generate the force when you actually throw the kick. If I lift my leg up straight, it's just going to hit the target and there's not going to be much force behind it. Okay, so if I lift my leg up with the chamber first and then fire it out, then it's going to have that impact as your foot hits it. Now, which part of the foot are we hitting with? Up to you. You can hit with the bottom of your foot, okay, like you're looking through the letterbox on the front door. You can do that. Or if you want to generate a little bit more power, a little bit more impact, I would say, even more than power. The power is the same, obviously, but the impact area is smaller, so the force is larger. I'm using force and power correctly. You want to contact with your heel. So when you do this kick, put your toes down slightly, and then land more with the heel. So the first way, my foot is kind of horizontal when I hit the target. The second way, more kind of toes down, hitting with the heel. So the first way, I demonstrate with the bottom of my foot and the heel of my foot, like so. You maybe hear a little bit of a difference in the punch bag, just in terms of the impact. So, practicing the side kick, we want to strengthen that leg for lifting up the chamber first of all, okay? Because that chamber is where everything comes from. If I've got a weak chamber, then my leg drops easily, and I struggle to get that leg up. I struggle to hit the target area that I'm aiming for. We're just going to start off at body height to begin with. It's a good level for beginners. You can obviously do side kicks to the head, and in different styles of kickboxing, you can do them to the legs as well. If you want to do like a kick to the knee or something like that, but we're just going to go to the body, okay? So when I lift this chamber up, ideally I want my foot to be the same height at its highest point as what it is when it hits the target. So if my foot is here, it only needs to travel out in a straight line to get to where it's going. That makes it a little bit more efficient and, like I say, more direct. So it's harder for somebody to block, harder for somebody to go through and step through and hit you before you can land that side kick. So 3 things that you can think of when you do this is, as I said before, pivoting your back foot. When you lift that chamber up, it's like you're drawing this knee to this shoulder, going it right across, and then you can keep this shoulder, your hip, and your heel all on the same line. Then when you straighten out your leg, that should hit the target. Okay, so where the side kick goes wrong is if your chamber's down here and you're trying to throw the kick, it's going to go low, or if your chamber's a little bit more open, like a roundhouse kick, it's going to come around like that. It's not going to have that direct effect through the target. It's going to come around more like a roundhouse kick. You never really want that with a side kick. You want it to travel in a straight line. So something you can practice is your sticky kicks. I say this to all my students all the time. Practice your sticky kicks every day. If you do 10 each leg every single day, your kicking level is going to improve so much because it helps with your flexibility, leg strength, and your technique. So to do a sticky kick, you basically use the wall for balance, pivot that standing foot, bring your leg up into chamber position for the kick that you're doing. It doesn't just work with side kick, you can do it with the roundhouse kick too. And then you slowly extend your leg, and then you slowly bring it back in. Okay, and if you can do that 10 times on each leg, then you'll soon see results. Okay, do that every single day. Now, how fast you go is up to you. If you're a beginner and you're struggling, then you may need to go a little bit faster because your leg's getting tired. But trust me, the slower you can force yourself to go this kick, the more benefits you're going to see. Okay. So once we get the technique kind of right, then the next thing to work on is your flexibility, okay? So the more flexible you are, the easier it is to throw these kicks. So you really want to be working towards getting lower into your splits, because if you imagine when you're throwing that side kick, I show you in this position here, it's not all too dissimilar to this position here if you just tilt me off this way, okay? This also helps, of course, with roundhouse kicks, hook kicks and stuff like that. So practicing your flexibility is important. I would recommend starting off, as I said, with a warm-up, getting loosened off, leg raises to the front, leg raises to the side, circular leg raises like a crescent kick, in the way, out the way, getting loosened off. And then doing exercises, doing the kicks and stuff like that. And then at the end of the warm-up, doing more of the static stretches, okay? So if you do your static stretches at the start of the warm-up, you're going to fatigue your muscles and then they're more likely to pull and you're more likely to hurt yourself. So stretches you can practice at the end of your workout, things like your frog stretch, making sure your knees and your hips are in line. Again, this is all about opening up your hips. Your butterfly stretch, putting your feet together, pulling them in nice and close, and then getting your knees down as close to the floor as you can, holding that. You can stretch out your hamstrings and your calves with like the champion stretch. So one foot on the floor, one knee bent, one leg straight, toes pointing up. You can do that on both legs as well. You can even at the start of your warm-up, use this as a dynamic stretch to get yourself loosened off. And then of course you want to work towards your split stretch. It helps as well, I find, not just to practice the side splits, also to go over into your front split. Practice that on both sides. And of course there's your box splits, so when you come up on your heels, that's a little bit different as well. I usually like to just rock backwards and forwards between the two, so get a little bit lower. But my finishing position is usually right at the end of the floor. And then if you want a bit of extra downwards pressure, your hands and knees to practice that. Okay, so once you got your flexibility and your technique sorted out, then you can practice your side kicks. So a few different ways to throw the side kick. You can of course just do a normal basic side kick, hit the target. In sparring, you might want to cover a little bit more distance, so you might kind of machine gun kick it across the room, hit the target. As I said at the start, you don't always have to go for the body. You can go up to the head as well. You can go up high with the side kick. Again, that's probably after you get your flexibility down a little bit more. And you can also use the side kick to defend with. So it's hard to demonstrate on a punch bag, but if the punch bag was attacking me, I could lean back away from him, land that side kick, and get away. So that's something I use in points fighting a lot. Anyway, that's the side kick, a technique broken down. A few different ways to practice it, a few different ways to improve it with some stretching, some leg strengthening, and then a few different ways to actually use it in our day-to-day sparring. So I hope you found that useful, hope you found it informative, and if you did, then please subscribe to the channel. Also, if you like that, drop a comment down below, tell me what else you'd like to see in another Technique Tuesday. I'm happy to oblige, happy to give something out, and yeah, we'll see you on the next week. So thank you for watching.